It is Sonja, and my dog Chief's in the picture too, maybe. I don't know if you can see him. He's like, "You're not paying attention to me, Mom." Yeah, I know. I've been busy. I'm making these videos, huh? So today I want to make a quick video. I don't have a lot of battery left on my phone. I don't have a lot of space, so it's going to be a quick one. But I just want to bring through some channeled messages that I got as I was doing some automatic writing yesterday. So this is a new thing to me, automatic writing. And I've seen it in some movies and it looked a little bit scary. But it's like if you've ever seen when the medium or the person is sitting there and they're kind of in a trance and they're writing these things and it's like the ghost coming through them and writing things on the paper. So I was always pretty scared to try this. But after reading How to Hear Your Angels by Doreen Virtue, I thought, okay, I'm going to try it because she gave some interesting tips. So her first tip was that you ground yourself and you ask for protection so that other energies can't come in and try and use you as a channel that you may not want, right? Any of those unsavory energies. And then you would start writing and hopefully words would start coming through on the paper, and you can a lot of times phrase it like a question and answer. So you'd be asking that being a question and then you'd be hopefully receiving an answer. And then you would just keep going as much as you could. And then when you're done, you would like thank the beings and you would close your circuit up. So that's kind of what I tried to do, and I'm going to, real fast, I channeled 4 beings. So we're going to talk about those 4 beings, okay? And I just wanted to send through those messages to you guys in case you needed them at this point. They are pretty general, but it was interesting to see what the process was like doing automatic writing, and I'll kind of tell you what my process was. Okay, so when I started, I actually went, my first tip is find a place that you feel most able to connect. Okay, so I went outside because I do best outdoors. It's easier for me to connect, to ground myself to Mother Earth, to just right away like open myself. When I'm inside, things get a little bit foggy sometimes, and I get distracted by the stuff around me. So I went outside, which was really cold yesterday, but I made it work. And when I was out there, I brought this notepad and a pen, and I was just ready to start. And as I started, a lot of times you'll see mediums where they just start like doodling, and they'll do little circles or little like swirls or whatever until the words start coming. Well, I found that for me that did not really work, okay? And the reason why is because when I receive messages, I pretty much just know them or I hear them, and it's almost instantaneous, which makes me doubt it sometimes because I'm like, is this my ego? No, blah, blah, blah. But if I really sit there and I like can't figure it out, it's usually my ego because it's blocking things. But if I know it right away, it's usually that's the message from Spirit. And sometimes I'll see things like especially images or like symbols sometimes, but sometimes they'll show me an image at the same time to help me understand. And then if it's a name, a lot of times I'll see it written out in my head because I do much better with specific like cultural words and names if I can see them. If you just tell me them, I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I need to see the word because I can grasp it easier. So I started out and I tried the doodling thing, didn't work. What I ended up doing is I just would write out my question and I would think it in my head and pose that to the being. After I had grounded myself, I asked for Archangel Michael to protect me, and I asked my guide Simon to be there to help facilitate the messages. And I just ended up asking questions, and I would kind of like sit there and doodle a little bit until I felt an answer come in. And then I would write down that answer, and this is more like a note-taking process for me because things will come in so fast that I don't really get them through my hand like that. I get them this way. But this was a way to kind of help myself stay open and not be as distracted by my ego. I was doing something else, right? I was taking notes and it was easier to stay open. So I did like this. My other tip is that it was a lot easier for me to communicate with angels this way. I don't know what it would be like to try and communicate with a deceased soul, because like somebody who was once on earth and then passed away. Because I do so much better with higher energies. I'm still learning, like, not that they're bad, but people who've lived on earth, live lives, and then they pass away, their energies are denser because they're connected to the earth, and that's denser. It's not bad, it just feels different to me, and it's very muddy. That's the word I use to describe it. It's muddy. And it's hard for me to figure things out right now, especially as I'm first starting. So I'm a little bit nervous. I'm very open to that. Like, I get it all the time, but it's still not clear to me, and it's very frustrating. So I don't feel comfortable doing a lot of readings yet with like deceased loved ones because I just can't get the information as clearly as I can when angels directly channel through me. Which sounds kind of like stuck up and snotty, like I talk to the angels so good, and I don't. I mean, I still miss things, but it's just a lot easier for me to communicate with beings at that level. So I opened myself up and I got 4 different beings to communicate with me. So the first one, I asked, what is your name? And he answered, my name is Zadkiel, like Angel Zadkiel. And I knew he was an angel, but I didn't really know that much about him. So later on, I did look up some things that he told me. But I'm just going to kind of go through his messages. I asked him, hello Zadkiel, what messages do you have for me? And he said, I would like to tell you not to worry. You are loved and are doing what God intended. Do not be afraid. I can help you when you are scared. I said, thank you. And then I said, I'm scared now, because I was. It was kind of a scary thing. I'm like, am I making this up? I don't know. My ego's in the way. I'm full of fear. I don't know. This is weird. And I said, are you here? Because I just wanted to double check that it was him. He said, yes, I am always with you. You are loved and cared for. Who else is with you? I asked. And I heard Ariel right away, like Angel Ariel, but I didn't really know that much about him either. And then an M name that I couldn't figure out. And I was like, Mother Mary, no. Archangel Michael, yeah, he's here, but that's not him. Someone else with an M wants to talk. And I couldn't figure it out, so I thought, I'll come back to it. So I kept asking Zadkiel some questions. I said, do you have a symbol that I can associate with you? And I wrote symbol, 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 and I kept writing the word symbol until I got something, and I got yellow roses. Which is interesting, because when I went back and looked him up, Angel Zadkiel is the angel of forgiveness, right? And quite a few other mediums, now after I looked it up, and they use yellow roses as a symbol of forgiveness, which I think is really cool, because he told me this and I didn't know that. So it does give me a bit of connection and validation, being like, oh, well, if you're the angel of forgiveness and you're telling me yellow roses and all these other mediums are using yellow roses for forgiveness, I might be on the right track here. It might not be just me making stuff up. And then I asked, what message would you like me to give others? He said, they are treasured. We guard them and want them to know love. Do not want and do not worry. Listen to yourselves. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then I moved on. And I tried to figure out what that next M name was, and it came to me as Moses. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Moses, like from the Bible? And I was like, no, this is not Moses, like walk down Mount Sinai with the 10 Commandments. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to play along. So I go, hello, is Moses here? And he goes, yes. And he had like an Archangel Michael energy, which is why I got mistaken with him as well. Because he has this super strong, like, I'm the king, I am the warrior, I'm here for you kind of energy. And I loved it. I was like, you are a cool dude. So I was like, yeah. I asked him if he's here, and he said, yes. I am strong and want to find my strength. I want to send you my strength. You are a peace warrior like I was. Stay strong and open. I was like, cool. So then I said, what messages do you have for my work, Moses? Continue. Build. No. Votan will help you. Which, in another video, I channeled Votan, which is like the first being I'd ever really channeled. It was super cool. Do not let doubt creep in. Let yourself grow and trust. And then I said, what about for others? How can I assist them? What can I pass along for you? Self-realization is the key to communication with God. This is what he said. We are God. He is in us. Love one another. And then he said, my commandments. Keep my commandments, right? So technically they're not Moses' commandments, they're God's commandments. But I think we get so wrapped up in like the minute details of the commandments and being like, but the commandment says exactly this. But I think the really important ones that we do talk about a lot if you go to a westernized church is like love one another and love God. And those are so important because they just cover like a wide blanket of things. And he was really pushing that. He said, like, love one another and keep those commandments. Like, don't just like wish-wash on them. You know, really commit to loving one another. And then I kind of thanked him and I was ready to move on. I said, is there anyone else here? And I doodled a whole bunch and I got flowers right away. So I thought, is this like somebody sending flowers as a symbol? And then I was like, no, it's a name with flowers, like this person who goes with flowers, it's a feminine energy. And I'm like, Florian, Floria, no, that's not it, it starts with an L. And then I realized it was somebody from like the Indian deity area, like an Indian angel. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And so I kept writing and I was like, the name starts with an L, and I got Lakshmi finally. And I was like, yeah, that sounds Indian, like that's gotta be it. So I wrote down Lakshmi. I really did not know that much about Lakshmi. I knew that sounded very Indian, and I know a little bit about like Hindu religions and that sort of thing, but not a lot. I studied it a little bit in college. And so I asked her, could you give me some details about you that would make it easier to know you? So I got mother, lotus, love, earth, volcano, petals, and the color red. So I saw her like with a lotus flower and like the petals of that flower, and I really felt like a earthly love emanating from her, and then the color red is what she wanted associated with her. So I said, okay, I got that. I wrote it down. And then for some reason I was thinking like 3 heads. And when I went back later and looked up Lakshmi, she did not have 3 heads. She has 4 arms. She's usually depicted that way. And she's been reincarnated into other goddesses. But she was the consort in Hindu religion of Vishnu, I believe, and he had 3 heads. I was like, what? So I don't know why I was thinking she had 3 heads, but all I got was like 3 heads. And so I wrote that detail down and I looked it up. And she said people celebrate her by giving offerings of dal, which is like rice, maybe. If someone's from India and watching this, please fill me in. And then like beads, they like honor her with beads or something like that. I said, what messages do you have to share, Mother? And she said, feel the earth, do not forget her. She is in all of us asleep. We must awaken. And this sounds really kind of like fatalist, end of the world, but I don't think she meant it like that. She said, terrible things happen if we cannot see. So not terrible things will happen. She's just like things don't turn out well if we close our eyes to those sorts of things and we live our life like with blinders on, right? She said love and care and like cycles is a big thing for her, like cycles of the earth, right? The mother cares for us and we must care for her, as in Mother Earth, right? She will bring us more joy. Plant, sow, reap, breathe, and feel. And then I underlined feel. And then she kind of gave me like an opposite feeling, saying like right now, people who are maybe not benefiting from things are people who are cold and unfeeling as far as like the warmth of the universe and the earth and that energy. If you close yourself off to that, it's gonna be harder. And then do not let others discourage you, or it says your fears will hold you back. Love yourself, love the land, celebrate with others, and look with love. So a lot about looking and seeing, right? And then I thanked her and I moved on. I said, is there anyone else here to speak? And I wrote a little bit, and then I got Ganesh. So that was my 4th deity, right? I had Zadkiel and Moses and Lakshmi, and now Ganesh. And Ganesh was he was kind of like that fun uncle that comes and hangs out. He's like, oh, where's the party? Like, that's who Ganesh is. He's a super fun guy. And he was kind of put out when I was talking to him. He was like, hi, I like you. And I was like, yeah, I like you too. And then he seemed kind of grumpy. And I said, why are you grumpy? And he's like, no one listens to me. Sort of playing the victim card. Like, you know that popular kid who's like, oh, no one's paying attention to me today. Like, that's kind of what I got from him. He's really silly and fun. But at the same time, he was really concerned with order. And he was like really pushing respecting the seasons and like ceremonies and rituals. That's big for him. And he said, no one listens to me, right? So I said, I will listen. What would you like to say? He said, treat others with respect and do not push them away. And then he emphasized like the cycles and the seasons. And he said, like, respect the ceremony in our lives. We all have different ceremonies, and that's okay. We all celebrate differently and have different rituals, but they are all holy. So reserve our judgments, right? Don't judge each other's rituals, but you focus on practicing your own personal ritual, is what he was saying. And yeah, he was a fun guy. He was cool. He said, change takes time. And then he used the phrase, keep your chin up. So he used that phrase. That's not really a Ganesh phrase, but it's meant to portray his energy, like a, hey, hang in there, pal. That'll be okay, kid. Like, that's kind of the way he is. Like you're doing fine, kiddo. So my phone died halfway through the other video. And all I really was doing was talking about Ganesh and how he was a cool guy. I didn't really mention, in case you don't know who Ganesh is, he's the guy with the elephant head. And there's this whole story about him in the Hindu religion about how he got his elephant head, whatever. And I did know that Ganesh was the elephant guy, but when I started channeling him, I saw him, and I was like given that. I didn't like ask for a whole bunch of details about him, like to tie. I didn't ask as much about him as I did about Lakshmi because I knew who Ganesh was, and So I wasn't like, who are you? I don't understand this. I was like, oh yeah, that elephant guy. Plus, he has such a strong personality. Like, that's what I was so interested in, was like, what are you, like you're kind of a funny guy. What are you saying? So for him, I was more distracted with that stuff, and I didn't really ask for like symbols and colors and that sort of a thing. And he didn't give me any specific ones. So I could have asked for some if I wanted to. But yeah, so that was my channeling, and I just wanted to kind of share some of their thoughts with you, the answers to the questions that I asked, because I think they're really timely, and they give some really good general notes for anybody, no matter what you're going through. I think they're good universal messages, and I'm glad I was able to channel those through. So yeah, if you have any questions about automatic writing, if you want to chat about channeling or about what I do, or if you have questions about things that you might be experiencing, please go ahead and talk to me in the comments. Send me a message, chat me up on any of the social websites that I have linked below, and I'd love to talk to you about it. I'm also giving away free readings right now, where I can either read your energy, I can read kind of similar to what I do with automatic writing, where I would go in and I would like try and chat with your spiritual team and help you find answers to certain questions. And it's just a way for me to practice, and so I'm offering free readings at this point so that I can practice getting to know more people and getting to practice my skills, and you in turn are getting a service from me while I'm practicing. So if you feel led to do that, please go ahead and follow the links down below in my description, and with that, I wish you all the best. Thank you.